Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well tonight. We got some work ahead of us, don't we? We're preparing ourselves to take our first steps into a new chronicle, Detroit by Night, Overhaul. For those of you who followed us during the Motor City, we've witnessed the anarchs crumble. We've seen the insurgents of the Second Inquisition. We've seen lives lost and crumbled. A large massacre within a short period of time. Kindred have always had ways of operating in the long term. But the older you get, the harder it is to become reactionary. So, when things change so quickly, they're often reliant on neonates. But there's something to it when taking a new domain, which the Camarilla will learn. Prince Lagon has taken Praxis. The exiling of Prince Dufresne, who was responsible for the initial invasion. Prince of Winnipeg, formerly Prince of Detroit. But now, the kindred of Detroit have whispers of this fledgling prince. Anyone in proper Camarilla standing would find this deplorable. A horrible slander against a prince who won the title by right of praxis. Laws have been decreed, and a year has gone by. The truth is that after the decimation, well, Second Inquisition's still out there. Remnants of the old baronies now have made small gangs. And whatever's left haunts Detroit. In these ashes, though, as though a phoenix, the Camarilla rises. Many have come to the city, proclaiming their allegiance to Prince Lagon, taking the knee, kissing the ring, and finding fertile ground, fertilized with the ashes of those who died in the epidemic of Flan, the Second Inquisition, and the conflict that raged between the Camarilla and the anarchs. But now that things have died down a little bit, the prince has begun to move, and in this has assembled, well, a new coterie. Tonight, we'll be introducing the players who we've managed to end up bringing on in. I have to end up thanking everybody who ended up submitting a want to join us. In the end, we took 5 players, significantly larger number. Though, don't lose hope just yet. After all, things happen beyond a world of darkness. After all, this is a court, is it not? So without further ado, how about you all introduce yourselves and plug whatever channels you're a part of and tell them what you do and who you plan on playing.
My name's Coffee Cat. otherwise known as Ben, sometimes. I have a channel of my own, Coffee Cat Presents. Most of you already know about that. And I will be playing the Tremere Adrian Crawford.
Don't everybody jump up at once.
Well, guess I'm up next. Well, my name is Volvo729. Most people call me Volvo. But I will be playing the mysterious and possibly dangerous Brujah named Apex. I usually be lurking in everyone's channels.
Yes, and going an interesting mix right away. Who's up next?
My name is Spectre Deflector. I am a Twitch stream artist and member of this wonderful community of Derek's. I'm going to be playing a La Sombra by the name of Tegan Moore.
And Spectre is dedicated on ruining my autopsy. Joe Black reference for anybody else who didn't catch that. Alright, who's up next?
I mean, I'm not going to leave you all waiting any longer. I'm back. My name is Rose, or the English Rose. I'm generally lurking in Derek's Discord. Link below. And I will be playing the character of Vivian Remington, recently new fledgling of the Banu Hakim.
One interesting bit, which leaves us to our final contestant, or victim, depending on who you want to ask.
Why, hello. I am the good Derek's sheriff, Ivalon. Probably seen me as a mod in his chat or in the Discord. I used to stream, and I have a channel with the same name, and I'm hoping to get back into it. But for Overhaul, you can call me Frank, because I am playing Dr. Frank Demetrios, who is a Tremere and is very much interested in the truth and finding out hidden secrets.
That's right. We got 2 Tremere coming on. So, of course, I'm going to be overwhelmed with having to end up coming up with a decent chantry. Always the dread of every single ST. So, my want is to, jump right into it. My habits are to introduce. We just had our characters. Okay, let's play. Right, that's what Session 0 is about, is setting it up. So, this is always fun. So, right away, are there any questions we can answer before we start? Any things we want to start delving into, or anything we need cleared up? I love the long, pregnant pause.
I'm just thinking.
Real quick, with the character creation in the book, it says it lists out a number of specialties. Do you have to stick with those specialties that they listed, or can you change to something that you would probably actually use for your...
They're just suggestions. They're an example, effectively. If you want to go past that, you just end up letting me know what the specialty is, and I'll give a yay or nay. Sometimes things are too broad, and sometimes they're a little too tight-knit. So, I'll try and balance it.
For example, I have crime scenes as an investigation specialty.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have the history of Detroit as one of mine.
Okay. Because last time I ended up just going with the specialties that were in the book, and they never really came into play. So, want to make sure I get that right.
Well, you want to make sure it's true to your character first and foremost, right?
Yeah, then you say that, Volvo, but one of my most used specialties was brawl grappling. Because that was the one straight in the book. That was given to me by my predator type, and like it came up all the time for Raven. So it is picking the one that you know will be useful for your character.
Fun fact, Mouse knew how to play piano, but it never came up.
Yeah.
Raven was good with dogs. I don't think I ever made a single animal ken check.
Well, it also depends on what you're using and how you're applying yourself, right? So, for those of you who are new, since I got one player who's never actually played under him, my game, or me as an ST under me, and I have one player who hasn't played with me in almost, 2 years, 3 years maybe, I need to refresh you guys on the basic lecture. Okay, this basic lecture follows as such. My job as the storyteller is to facilitate scenes. My job is to set the stage, to play the supporting cast, to be the final judge of the rules, and keep the game flowing. Okay? I will set up the situation, I will set up the narrative, but where this starts, where the story goes, and ultimately how it ends, will always be in your hands. Dare to be awesome. And for those of you who played in Detroit, I'd like to think I've executed on that promise quite well.
And apart from Volvo, who got it confused and thought it was a reference to the Weird Al song, Dare to be Stupid.
You want to go, buddy? You want to go?
Are we gonna start this? Okay, we keep a certain level of professionalism when we're streaming. Yeah. All right.
Boy.
Called out.
Hey, Sam, how you doing? Okay. So, that's what we're starting with. Now, with your characters, would you guys prefer to start with the relationship map, or would you like for me to try and lore dive into this a little bit more, try and flesh things out for you? Is there anything you're unclear about? Give me some ideas on where you think we should start. Because I got 101 things I can jump on, but I'd rather focus on what you guys are asking. Build it around what you're requesting.
I think... What's an actual list of what we need to get through this session?
Okay, so first thing that comes to mind is relationship web. Second thing is coterie dots. Okay. Third thing, sires. Fourth thing, places of interest specifically tied to you. Okay. This could... Now, your haven might be interesting for you, but if you don't intend for that to be a focus, okay, so a simple example would be Nightmare had a haven in the earlier portion, but never really went to it. It wasn't really a plot focus, right? Whereas in San Antonio, the cabin has been a plot focus for quite some time. It's always been where all the interactions have placed, right? So I want to end up focusing on that. Fifth, I would like to actually focus in on what your expectations are. Things you are interested in and things that you are kind of like, I'd rather not deal with this too much. Either it'll be, if it is something that would be plot relevant but you're not interested, I'll try and save it for moments where you're not involved unless you as a whole push it to get that situation, in which case you guys written yourself into that corner. But I'm also looking for particular limits. Obviously, we try our best to play to Twitch's terms of service. As restricting as that is to me, I still like to skirt the edge a bit, because this is World of Darkness, let's be honest here. Yep, we definitely need to end doing Chronicle Tenants, because I do like the ones that we have, or we started with. It's a classical bit, but there's other things that we might be able to tweak. Because remember, we can come up with the rule set for Stains. The one thing I would say, though, is whatever you are making for Stains, make it so that is actually a focus of the game. If we are talking about how polite society here, or it needs to be played, then that should be a focus. If you're talking about you will not cause bodily harm, that's a different thing. These are different focuses, right? So that's the way I would look at it. But before we end up going into what I'm looking for, I'd rather focus on you guys.
I mean, before we can do the relationship web, I think cementing our sires is probably a smart idea.
Yeah, those seem to go hand in hand, really.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay, well, thankfully, I still have Photoshop open. And I have, right here, the ability to make templates very, very quickly. So, let's take a look here. Alright. So.
Yeah, I love the templates he let you use.
Yeah. So. Where do you guys want to start first? You guys want to start on sires?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Now, I have 4 sires because, if I recall, Valentine is both Coffee Cat and Ives' sire.
Yes.
Would you guys be kind enough to change your name, much like you see Vivian Remington, Rose F, Tegan Moore, Spectre Z, just so I can end up getting used to the new names?
Okay.
Midwood, I actually don't have his Photoshop open all that frequently. It is a memory hog.
Oh, we go.
There. Hey, Plunder. This is one of the few, and for those of you who are new here, I don't often interact with the chat in play. Just to let you guys know. The reason being is as much as I'd love to end up interacting with you guys, that's what the workshop's for. When we're in play, my players deserve my 100% attention. So, just to end up playing, you know what you'll be getting into should you choose to follow here through the entire story of Overhaul, and I hope you do. We'll also try and end up being, or I will personally, will be trying to end up being a little bit more proactive when it comes down to uploading the VODs on YouTube. So, hopefully this all works out. But, I digress. So, here's what I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need pictures of sires. Okay, real quick, and give me a name as well, because I have them written down here, and I'm gonna just remove this last bit because I do love the name Alim, but I'm not sure sold on the last bit of the name, so that might change, but we're still subject to change right now. This is where we flesh it out. This is where we figure it out. So. Let us, just gonna move this up here so it's closer to everything else. Okay, so
Derek, if I might ask, do you still happen to have the photo I sent for Orpheus, or should I resend it?
I might. I think you know full well on like how all over the place I was. So
Yeah.
I will. I'll see if I can find.
I can resend it.
I think I got it. There's
Cool.
a lot. You sent a lot of photos, so. Link.
And you say I'm the one doing call-outs.
Nah. So I'm just gonna make this real quick, and these are just gonna be placeholders because I do intend to illustrate all of these before broadcast. But that is.
Wait, that's one.
I'm sorry, what? Is it?
My old boy.
I knew the bitch didn't die in that car crash.
Wait, really?
Yep.
Whoops.
Same face.
I can change it.
No, it's all good. Remember, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be illustrating it later anyway.
Okay.
No, it's okay. Wam had a brother. 2.
Wow.
The horrible people. The horrible people.
Damn it, Rose.
Okay.
This
So
is why
I
we
got-
love you.
Yeah, I want to get the, at the very least, the placeholders for, and so I'm just gonna make a note. This is Tegan's sire. Anything we should end up putting in here? I know you've written a bit, so. But just for everybody else's edification, as it were, what do I need to know about Orpheus as his general personality if I'm going to portray him?
Goodness gracious. I never actually thought much about it, other
That's
than
okay. Give me 2 tidbits. Plays chess and enjoys tea, likes to beatbox in his spare time and goes off the handle if you mention his ex-wife. I don't know. What are 2 things? Just 2 things that comes to mind.
serious nature, talks about war.
Oh, we can work with that. So that just gives me a little bit to work with. Now, while we're doing that, I'm just going to move us into here for now. So this was the temporary space I had reserved to do this. Rose, would you be able to just put a placeholder image for Vivian? I will change everything up afterwards, but I just want to be able to do this for the relationship web.
Give me a second.
God dang it, drag over. There we go. So apparently, Valentine has something for beards and slick back hair. I'm coming to realize. Maybe that's a part of it, right? Like the sire makes all of his child are the same in that regard.
Valentine's just into the daddy material.
Apparently.
Is Valentine a man or a woman?
Yes.
Don't start with that. Do not start with that.
What would you like, coffee?
You just put a name in. I took it. So
I picture them to be a woman.
Woman it is then.
all right, somebody send me a photo.
Let's see if I can find something suitable.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Let's see if I have something suitable, actually.
Okay. I'm going to try and space this out fairly evenly. Okay, now got Orpheus, who is fatigued.
Ooh, I kind of have something.
Alright.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did anybody else send me anything yet?
I am currently looking.
Alright. Yeah, I gotta redo all the tokens right now, but this is what Session 0 is all about. Let's see here.
Hector is Hector.
Yeah, please don't snap us out of existence, Thantos.
Where should I put the picture for Valentine?
Send it to me as a Discord link, and I will load it up, copy it, and make a quick one.
Sounds good.
Really? Oh, that's gonna be so fun.
All I ask is you guys keep the trolling to a relative minimum, and I do know relative is entirely dependent on the group, but, you know, for us...
Ooh, I like
No,
Vivian's
no.
look.
It's just that is a placeholder. Vivian is not going to be portrayed by Tom Holland.
Yeah, I will try to, and I know what you're looking for. I will try and get that illustration done. Like I said, it's going to be... The hope is that I can do them in much the same way as I did Telly and Lagon, who will be the key players in the opening acts. We will be introduced to Sheriff Mantle, Inc., Tamara, and Michelle Berlo in time, but I figure we'll end up going through the opening start and probably end up just doing your introductions, as it were.
Alright, I sent you a picture.
Okay, let's take a look. They need to be clothed first for me to end up being able to put it on Twitch, okay?
Fine.
I'm just messing around.
I know.
Well, I can throw away that image.
We're all degenerates.
This is true. This is true.
Tell you what, while we're just quietly looking for images, if anyone has any questions in the chat, hit us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. I'm just plugging this all away so we can start with the wonderful bits of Coterie creation.
Mm-hmm.
I will also preface that by everyone has the right to say spoilers to any questions you ask.
Yeah. Okay, so I need one Philim and another Hector, because we got a lot of Hectors going on here. Okay. So, we got these. We got Camarilla Court. We have Anarchs. Hiding plot notes. And add a folder. Okay. Now, thankfully, we have a few others that we can end up playing with. Because, yeah, you were not holding back at all, Spectre, when it came down to fleshing out pretty much everything in your story. I was actually kind of shocked on how much material you actually gave me.
I'm like, here, take it all.
Okay, so we're gonna start. I'm just gonna go down here.
The ultimatum, Derek, is I'm hoping you break my heart.
Don't worry about that. Let's see here. So,
Yeah, don't threaten Derek with a good time.
I have been victim to this for the last 52 episodes of Motor City, so...
I noticed that you don't have a third. You have a third conviction, but I don't see a touchstone to it.
Yeah, I was still trying to figure out who would represent that. I was trying to think that through.
As far as my touchstones and stuff are concerned, I don't even have convictions yet, so...
You might want to get on that, Coterie, because if we're going to be talking about Chronicle Tenants...
Yeah.
Right. Well, like, I didn't know what the Chronicle Tenants would be, really. If we're going to go with default, then we're going to go with default, but, like...
That's what we're here to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what convictions I would use aside from that right this second, because everything in the book doesn't seem to fit Adrian, as far as ideas. So I have to come up on my own.
Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Mortal.
Derek, for the last one, I think I'm gonna make it Tegan's younger sister, Hannah.
Okay. So, right now...
Okay, thank you. This person does not exist.
This person does not exist is a great website.
Yeah.
It gives great kind of basics for characters.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
If you have no idea what this person's going to look like, but you eventually want to create something that will represent them, then yeah, it's a great website.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm waiting for this thing to tell me you're out of space. Clear out your cat, or clear it out. Like, great.
Oh, damn it. Derek, let me know if that image works for you. It seems to have saved it in a weird file type.
Okay.
Like, I just tried downloading it and it opened, but...
Yeah, that is... I don't know. Yeah. No. No, that won't work.
Oh, god damn it. Okay. I don't know what went wrong then, because I've got all these images.
Okay, let's see.
I will develop a workaround.
Yeah, Midwad's asking, what brought your La Sombra over to the Camarilla side?
Oh, well, to start with, Tegan was embraced Camarilla. Orpheus is kind of the one who had to be brought over, so to speak. Basically, the whole entire idea behind Tegan was after the La Sombra actually did get into the Camarilla, they needed La Sombra who represented a Camarilla mindset, a Camarilla approach. And so Orpheus embraced Tegan, who was and is, in essence, a negotiator. Their entire build is built around the idea of being able to talk things through with people, being able to work with people on finding deals and cooperation. So,
Okay.
that was my idea.
No, that's fantastic. Okay, so we got Valentine here. Is attached to you two. With Orpheus, I need one for Alim and one for Hector. You on that right now, here, big man?
Yep.
All right, send it over. That works so much better.
I've also got the 2 photos for Vivian's touchstones as well.
Okay, so we got Alim. Right now we're just going to focus on the basics, and we'll discuss on how we're going to go about this from that point on forward. Where's Alim? Here we go. So we're only worried about doing the stuff that is directly to you. All right. This is just to get a feel for everything else. Let's see here. Black's coming back. Okay. And I just need one more for Sire. Okay. Okay. That'll work. Alright. Just a placeholder image lets me know what we're dealing with, so I don't mind the low resolution. I'll be redrawing these anyway and putting Detroit flair to them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Halim. So many Hectors, they need a last name.
Hector? Hector?
Good old Hector.
Which one? Oh, good old Hector. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, not old good Hector. No.
I keep getting them confused. Oops. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of that.
God, he switched from cravats to cardigans.
Got rid of the suspenders, got cardigans instead.
Hey, don't diss the suspenders. They are comfy as shit.
I'm not dissing on suspenders. I'm just saying.
Love that Freudian slip there.
You're welcome.
Wow.
I'm just having such a hard time figuring out a conviction for this.
All right, well, we can go back to it. Let's start right now with we got that. Okay. So I'm assuming you guys know on how to do lines and all that stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll take a minute to flesh that out. But first and foremost, we need to decide on Chronicle tenants. Now.
Finally.
Oh, finally. Sounds like you have something in mind.
No, I'm just excited to know what they are. Well, I mean, maybe. So, Detroit as a city is like a really like lay low kind of situation for basically the entirety of Kindred society. I think as a Chronicle tenant, maybe we should have something in relation to that.
I'm just trying to find our old ones so we can reference back to them.
It's, thou shalt not kill save as self-defense. Thou shalt not harm the innocent. And what was the third one? Thou shalt not rape or torture.
Yep. Which, that one went out the window by the end. No judgment. It's just, okay.
No, I know. And it's just like, you're right. And as I will point out to many people, Raven's story was not a happy one.
It was beautifully deranged, though. I loved it for that. That being said,
I'm wondering, due to all like trying to avoid kind involvement, it's like, is there something that we could get to represent that? Just like because everyone is kind of like,
you want to be careful with that
time
because
is-
then you wouldn't be able to interact with your touchstones.
Yeah.
yeah, and so that's why I'm just trying to think of the right wording of it.
What page?
Well, to take a page out of Brisbane's book, we could always put a Chronicle tenant as maintaining the traditions.
You could. Let's see here.
Masquerade being one of them.
Yeah. I'm happy to make the traditions a core part of us.
Well, to be fair, I like to keep those as the separate rules that everybody's playing with. That's the governmental situation. That, rather than that is a government. You know, if it's a chosen touchstone or conviction, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
But as far as like the morality of the game,
Yeah.
or the morality of our people,
Yeah. What would be a line that would cost you your soul? Is the best way to think of it.
Ah, here they are.
with
I do like the guilty should suffer from the Gothic romantic suggestion.
I don't know that Adrian would do that.
Yeah, I don't think Vivian would be up for that one either.
Adrian is very much at this point, a lay low and keep his head down kind of person. He's survived on his survival instincts for the better part of the last year, and so he's just looking for a settle down right now.
Mhm.
Now, that's not going to happen in the Chronicle, obviously, but that
I'd
is
like
what
to
he's
lie to
looking
myself. Yeah.
for. That is
Well-
what he's looking for.
Mhm.
Huh.
Mhm. Is that like the humanists one is a good one?
Yeah.
If that's a good base one at all times, I like because the first one was an Anarch game, but it was also me introducing the system to a lot of new players. That's the reason I went with humanist rather than street code. But those four are just examples of a grouping. We can pick and pull from it all we want, you know.
Mhm.
So, like, for instance, you could
I'm gonna
Go
put
ahead.
something in chat for now, and I don't know if it really works, but it kind of lays down where our loyalties lie. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So to the Tower of the Coterie, to the Coterie ourselves, to ourselves each other.
Interesting. So at any point you play outside the lines. Okay.
Is that turning politics into a morality then?
It
Kinda
is.
is. Which, if that's what you guys want to sign up for, that's fine. But I want everybody to be clear on that, right? Because
Yeah.
ultimately, does this hurt your soul in some way, right? Does this fundamentally change what you are, right? A simple example. If you're a believer in the tower, if each and every one of you came up with this, and you identify as Camarilla, a good one would be obey authority. The second that somebody above you tells you something to do, to break that is to remove who you are, which is one of the ways you start losing yourself to the beast.
Huh.
See, I don't know, because I know at least two of us are, without going into spoilers, heavily tied to the law.
Mm.
My character is also similarly, just due to backstory and who they are, like, they would obey authority as best. They would be loyal to the laws, not necessarily the authority that wields them. The only person I feel that could be a real handicap to would be our dear friend. Hold on, I'm just going to have to look up names because I'm learning them. Would be our dear friend Apex.
Okay.
I have a good one. That might work. Because it's kind of in that gothic romance bit, but doesn't quite use the rules of it, which is uphold your sworn word.
I'm down for that.
That follows Tegan pretty well, yeah.
Yeah.
You say you're gonna do something, you do it.
Mm-hmm. So
You hear that, Volvo?
What?
Yeah. The second one, I would like to pull from others, though.
Hmm.
If that's a good one to start with. The second one I'd like to pull from is from Gothic Romance, because I do like it a lot. Uphold the norms of decent society.
Hmm.
So, you could defend yourself, but to suddenly lash out and threaten somebody openly, kind of spilling the line. There's a clear difference to how you approach things.
The only reason I wouldn't be willing to go for that one is 4 out of 5 people on this relationship map would be A-okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Apex is not that type of character, from what I understand from what Volvo has told me.
Well, you ended up having your fast track to losing humanity. Why can't he?
And I'm just pointing this out. If Volvo's okay with it, I'm okay with it, but I'm making sure Volvo is aware of this, if that makes sense.
That would be shooting myself in the foot with the line of work that he does.
Yes, but remember, your convictions fight against it. That would be an example of so the reason you can get away with it, or it doesn't affect you near as badly, is you have a particular personal conviction that saves you from it.
Sure.
Right?
I have a suggestion.
Shoot.
So, I will say, to some extent, all of the characters have some sort of tie or connection in some way of trying to protect and or help, I guess, in their own way, fix Detroit. Generally speaking, that's kind of like what every character in this game has been doing up until this point, up until part 2. So I think as a Chronicle tenet, if we made it something like the stability of Detroit is being part of a core aspect of us would be something. For instance, if we accidentally throw another Second Inquisition raid, then that's a couple stains at the least.
That's a blood hunt.
Yeah, that would be, you have more problems than stains at that point. But
yeah.
I know what you're going for.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot.
That kind of begs to the one, oh, what was it? Where did it go? Where did it go? From each according to their abilities, to each according to their needs.
Karl Marx! Hey!
For the betterment of the city, that's morality, I guess? I don't know. Something to think about.
If you wanted to put a Marxist spin on it, yeah.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
No, it's all good. Appreciate the fact that you're throwing stuff out.
I think I could get behind that.
Yeah.
I know Adrian would have a little bit of a personal issue with that because he's been surviving this long, but he can learn to do that.
Tegan is already of that mindset as per the profession that they've been doing to some extent. I don't know if they would take that as a tenet necessarily. For them, it would make more sense to take it as a conviction.
Yeah.
I, much in the same way for Vivian. Vivian is all about that. They
But
would
that's-
just grate at the wording.
Yeah, but that would be a personal conviction
Because-
at that point, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'm almost thinking the humanist seems to fit the best in that regard then, where killing and ruining other people is going to be what morality will damn you.
Humanist is good for human versus vampire.
Yeah.
After all the shit we've been through, trying to maintain humanity is what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Up to you guys.
Okay.
I would be up for a humanist style.
Humanist is where I feel my strength is personally, but I'm trying not to just wedge that in there.
So, humanist with a bit of gothic romance.
I'm thinking that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think what I would do if I were to follow that, thou shalt not kill save in self-defense.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not harm the innocent or no, actually, you know what? Scratch that. If it's uphold the norms of decent society, I think that would cover the last two, so that makes a mix right there.
I mean, it would cover all three of our previous ones, really.
Well, not necessarily, because uphold the norms of the decent society, you can be a proactive killer. Very much so. So long as it ends up upholding the norm. That's the thing. But I shall not kill and save in self-defense. Yeah, I'm thinking just the whole humanist package works still. Though I do want to end up doing the whole uphold norms decency.
Yeah, Camarilla feels very much like
Decent
you're
society
supposed to
kind of
play
thing.
ball
Yeah.
with society. So I'm okay with that. Nothing says we have to only have 3.
What about... Would we still be okay with my loyalty to Detroit as a Chronicle tenant? Or something like that?
No, because that would be
No.
a personal thing.
Yeah.
Fair. All
That
right.
would be a personal thing. We're talking about literally stuff
Overall,
that
broad morality. Yeah.
broad strokes. So, for instance, like I can explain to you one of the reasons why Gothic works, if this helps you understand. The beast doesn't understand love, so to uphold it and never deny it is a way to keep the beast at bay, because that's a human thing. The guilty should suffer. The beast doesn't understand guilt or innocence. It understands food and threat. Right? Uphold the norms of decent society. The beast doesn't know on how to use a TV, or why you would keep a fish tank, or why you would go dancing in masks set to music. It doesn't understand these things. It's useless to the beast, but these things are very integral to being a human being. Being a
The
social
beast is an animal.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So that's what you're fighting against. So when you come up with a tenant, think of it, this is my guard against the beast. Right?
Okay.
This is a way to live that stops me from falling. That's the big thing.
Rules to live by, more or less.
Okay, so what were the 3 again?
Haven't decided yet. Still discussing. We're just getting giving the idea on how to look at a Chronicle tenant.
Okay.
That being said, Volva, you've been kind of quiet in this discussion, so what's going on with you?
Uh,
What are you thinking?
just trying to think what would actually work.
Oh, they all work. It's just dependent.
I'm not gonna lie, I do like without a cause, you are nothing.
I was thinking that too,
Including
actually.
Justice.
Would have been great for Motor City Detroit.
I think with a chronicle that is going to explore the themes of the tower more than sort of, the themes of the Anarch, that would be a good one to play off. Because I can safely say that everyone in this relationship map has a cause they are a part of, whether that cause is literally their own survival.
Okay. without a cause. So what I'm thinking is then, thou shalt not kill save in self-defense. Without a cause you are nothing. Uphold the norms of decent society.
So, in the case of without a cause you are nothing, how would that be used as a stain? What is an example of that?
So a simple example of that would be, say you are very protective of your haven, right? And then somebody ends up placing a, you know what, I will trade you this fantastic domain. I just need you to get out of that haven. It's unsightly. It's a clear come up. It's a way to improve yourself and your status, but it's at the cost of what you were fighting for at the first place. So each time you waver from your own goal or sacrifice it, it removes a bit of who you are.
So you've been working so hard towards a thing, and then you're willing to give it up at the drop of a hat. That's a stain-worthy thing, kind of thing.
Oh man, we better not get played then.
Well, that just means the paranoia needs to ramp up a bit, that's all.
Yeah.
Nothing
Oh,
unusual
God.
here.
Jesus. They have a hard time with that.
Those work for everybody?
Works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. You know where to write them down in your sheets?
Mm.
So if you go, yep. So I see Tegan has 2 of them down.
And now the third.
Yep, there you go. So those are the 3. Alright. Okay, so. So, right now, we end up having those down, which is fantastic. Alright. So we need that. We're going to move on to Coterie dots. Okay? Now, each one of you gets 1 to add. So if you don't know where that is on the character sheet, yeah. You end up taking a look at the top right-hand corner. It says Coterie. Click it, and then you'll get a whole new menu. Now, you can have up to 5 dots in Coterie. So, what you choose to start with, I leave to you to debate. But everybody gets 1.
What is our coterie about?
It's a good question.
It's your story.
I mean, unlike the Anarchs, it's a high chance that we were put together for a purpose.
Well, let's try and determine what our purpose was.
As if they're going to be that nice and tell us.
Well, what we could gather what our purpose might be, based on the skill set that we have, which is to assume that most of us have been introduced to each other within like a specific time frame or whatever, and we're eventually going to get jobs, and we kind of need to figure out what each other's skill set is in character.
Well, I can go out and say, like, I already answered that question for the most part. Tegan's whole position, or rather what they are more or less assigned to do, is act as a fledgling negotiator for the La Sombra, kind of like a representative for them. To more or less example, they're not all just brutes from the Sabbat. So a lot of what they're about is trying to find a middle ground with people, trying to learn about people's motives and understand what their needs are. And that's also just how they function as a psychotherapist. Adrian already knows this. Adrian and Tegan already met.
Yep.
They've already known each other.
So, coterie creation.
I will notice
Coterie type are we?
we're kind of...
That's kind of what we're talking about.
Coterie type
Yeah.
is kind of like if we're pre-genning it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Like, looking at it, the first thing that came to mind if I had to slap a pre-gen to it would probably be an investigator group.
That's what I was thinking as well. We
Yeah.
have two. We have like a specialist in Detroit history, and then an actual like PI from the Detroit police.
And someone who is trained in kind law and is being trained in kindred law.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we're definitely investigator types.
Volvo, what is Apex about?
How do I put in words?
What
I
I can
guess-
say is that
Too
you guys are
furious.
watchmen. You're a watchman style coterie. First thing that came to mind.
Yes.
I was thinking that reading through it. Or the Watchman is the one which also upholds the masquerade, isn't it?
Yep. Yes, you are.
Yeah, and just because it's like that could apply in many ways, because also it's like, we've got double Tremere. It's quite possible we may run into some magic shit.
Mm.
I'm just waiting for the ghosty stuff to start happening and Tegan being like, ah, I thought this was fake.
To be fair, up until a few years ago, Tegan thought vampires were a thing on the movie screen.
You got a point. This entire thing has been an existential crisis for an atheist.
Yeah. Yeah, wait until you end up running into someone who literally says, yeah, I'm older than God. I don't know if you've ever run into that, Kindred. I have. One that claims to be older than the concept of God. But
The only point for Watchmen that I think would come into question is why would we have status 2?
I can answer that quite simply.
I can too. But you go first, Rose.
It's probably going to be the same thing. We got a La Sombra and a Banu Hakim in the same coterie. Two of the new up-and-coming clans, and probably two of the first fledglings of those clans in Detroit.
Not really good argument for status.
Status
Depends.
isn't necessarily a positive thing. It just means eyes are on us and we are known.
yeah.
I guess.
Well, you got to remember also that it would be a case of if you are a known watchman, bowled together by the prince, now all of a sudden you are unofficially recognized as having a small portion of the prince's authority.
Yeah.
You have his blessing. As what you say about another kindred has some weight to it, right? But if you want to start off without, what I would almost say, okay, just going over it, what we have. What I would almost do is something like 2 dots criminal contact, 2 dots police contact, and maybe like 1 point drug contact, or pardon, what was it? God, I had
Like a
2 point
black
criminal, 2 point black market would be criminal. And I would say 1 dot in maybe something along the lines of legislation, government.
Oh.
So from a kind perspective, you can end up gaining information. What?
Now we're talking about spending our free dots, right?
These 5. I'm just saying that you have 5 to do. So.
Okay.
Yes, I got a cat that's looking for love, and the second I lean back, they just don't let me lean forward again. And they want to rub up against, like if I let them go, they're going to rub against my microphone. Oh, they jumped off for once.
Wheel. Coffee. Between Tegan and Adrian, I feel like they have fairly close connections to the Detroit police. I think it would be fair to add in some police contacts.
Yeah, I think so. And they may be a recent contact, because Adrian himself right now, as a character, does not have that.
Please, can it be Sergeant Payne?
I would say that would probably be unlikely.
Ah.
And the only reason I say that is because of who she would be connected with.
Ah, okay.
Unless otherwise that kind of turns into kind of an obvious, are you sure you can trust anything that comes out of your contact's mouth?
That's right, yeah.
Remember, almost everybody you were rooting for in the previous campaign, for the most part, would be coming back as an enemy.
I can already hear Coffee's heartstrings being tugged on.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
You know you would cry if you had to kill Gutter again.
Oh, I would die. I would die as a player. It would not be Adrian. It would be me.
No, it's all good. But... Oh, Thantos, you know I love to pick on Coffee Cat. But that being said, you guys can also use a Mala. You guys...
A Mauler would be good.
You guys could dump it all into status. Right? You could...
A shared haven would be really nice.
Shared haven could definitely help.
I would like that.
In building my character, I kind of ended up with no dots in resources or haven, so...
Oh, poor Vivian.
Vivian is literally a broke-ass college student.
Yeah.
Oh, bless him.
And he's from north of the 8 Mile, like...
Uh-oh, the BB.
Very.
Shared haven and shared resources sounds like a good starting point, but also having police contacts does sound like a good start for that too.
Okay.
Oh god. Vivian is the sort of person who would have to colour in parts of his sock with Sharpie to hide the hole in his shoes.
Now that sounds like the
Did you take
destitute law.
destitute? Oh, look at your flaws.
Not bad, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
I do have a 3-dot mauler, but due to the context of that mauler, I'm not willing to share it with the Coterie.
Mm.
And I think you'd agree with that one, Derek.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like, that is not someone we want to be relying on as a Coterie.
No, certainly not.
So what are our shared backgrounds? Just recap.
You say that, but no one has bothered to end up saying, "Yeah, we're taking this one definitively."
All right.
It's like
I'm gonna-
everybody's waiting for everybody else to make a decision.
Okay.
Well, I'm
gonna
looking,
put.
and I want the. I'd like to put my point into one of the domain.
Okay, so what are you putting
But,
in? I'm assuming Chase. You can't really have the others with that. Well, you could, but you'd be at a 7+.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Chase.
Chase would be first. Okay. Yep. Keep in mind, you guys can end up doing this in your own. You don't need to end up choosing as a group. You can say, "I am putting my point here. That's it. It's done." If you want to be harsh about it.
Remind me what Leon is. Line.
It's your ability to get information and influence people while in your domain. So, for instance,
I think Adrian would want to put his in either line or in a police contact.
Mhm.
That seems the most thematically appropriate to him, what he can bring to the table.
Okay.
All right. I'll put mine in line.
Okay.
Adrian, you do your jazz.
I will add the first dot in police contact then.
Okay.
And this is a shared background, right?
Yes.
So when I click on your character sheet, right? So I'm just gonna click on Frank for now.
Okay.
If we go to Coterie, we got shared contacts, 1 dot. Merit. I don't know why you have everything with an A in it, but if you go to domain, you can actually click these dots right here, 1 dot chase.
Ah.
If you want to put it into shared haven, there's a tab for that as well.
So wait, we would only have 1 dot chase?
Yep.
Because I'm the only
That's
one who's put it in.
He's the only one who put it in. So you have 1
Okay.
dot chase, 1 dot lane, 1 dot contact, police. Shadow's like, so the Tremere aren't putting all their dots into Mala for Tremere Regent?
I mean, I'd like to make.
I have a dot of status. I can't
Yeah,
transfer
it doesn't
that
matter.
to the Coterie, can I?
Yes, you can.
I can.
You can. All right. So here's the rules. Everybody gets 1, right? You can donate a dot off your backgrounds to the Coterie. I've done that before.
Mm.
You can also choose to pick a Coterie flaw to gain the equivalent dots. So, for instance, you could take adversary. Give yourself a 3 dot adversary. There is somebody in high political power that does not want you there.
That sounds vicious. That sounds like a lot. Also, a 2 dot adversary gives you up to a prince.
Yep.
But how dangerous can that be?
Well, at that point, I'm making up 6 and 7 dot disciplines.
I know. The sarcasm was in full of.
Oh no, I know for you it's sarcasm. I just figured that there might be somebody out there who is actually legitimately asking that question. Yeah.
I'm gonna put my 1 dot in Portalon.
Portal. Okay, so 1 dot across the Haven, 1 dot in Contact, and
1 dot in Chase, 1 dot in Leon, and 1 dot in Portillon.
alright, sounds like Remington is... Yeah, so Remington is the one who is currently keeping up, so let's take a look here.
I am not keeping...
Oh, okay, I thought you were keeping up with in the actual notes. I'm trying to watch a character sheet.
I was about to, that's why I was
okay.
there.
I'm keeping up in my notes. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look here. Okay, so just to be clear, I don't believe when it comes to domain you start with 1. I'm going to double check that, but I'm pretty sure you don't start with 1.
Yeah, that's why I have to buy.
Yeah.
To it.
Propulsions. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, I adjusted it.
Okay.
Bum, bum.
All right. Oh, my connection apparently has been interrupted.
Same.
Oh no.
Okay.
From Roll20.
So we have 1 Chase, 1 Lean, and 1 Portillion.
Yep.
That's pretty good. It's like basic.
We have 1 dot in Haven.
Oh, we have a shared Haven. That's good.
Okay,
You're going to
so
start Haven?
I've put my dot into Haven. We have a dot in Contacts Police from Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And I am giving the Coterie my dot of Status Camarilla.
Yeah, there we go.
okay. So, with that in mind, I think that gets us on to the next. So we got Sires, we got Coterie dots, we got Chronicle Tenants.
Are we planning on making any other moves as far as that goes? Because there might be some things that I might want to add. I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, I know Rose brought it up. Rose said that they wanted to sacrifice a dot of status to give to the Coterie for status. Do I understand that correctly?
Yep.
I am...
Oh, thank you very much, Shadow. Thank you. I don't have the bits popping up on this screen specifically because I didn't want any interruptions for the game, but thank you. Appreciate it heavily.
I think I'm going to put 1 of my dots in resources into the Coterie.
So you got $50 for gas, small stuff. Yeah, you'd be good.
I will also add a dot of resources.
Big spender. You guys probably have a car that works.
Where are you guys getting all these dots from?
They're removing them from their own character sheets.
Oh.
They're willing to give... Each one of them is willing to give of their own dots to add to the Coterie as a whole.
Because you can do that.
Now, it's a double-edged sword here, right? Because you can add to the Coterie, which makes you all have universally a better position. You work better as a group. But in doing so, you kind of compromise your own personal leverage.
See, out of character, all cards on the table, my character is tied to making this Coterie work. That's the kind of character he kind of is. That's why I'm going all in.
Mm.
Now, when you say all in, does that mean you are literally giving all 7 of your dice to Coterie?
No, I can't do that because of my character build.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, that's generous. That's more than generous.
Plus, because
I
2 of those
could-
dots are a lore sheet.
Yeah.
I could remove linguistics and buff some of our coterie stuff instead.
Yeah. Well,
Weird question.
Yeah.
We can't donate the dots granted to us by our feeding type, can we?
no, you cannot.
No.
Okay.
It's out of the 7 that you were given upon character creation.
Yeah.
I could spend some for our haven. Because I did want a library.
Need at least just 2 then. Are
You need a
willing to
2
give up
dot
2?
haven for that. Yeah.
I can do that.
Okay.
So make it a 2 dot haven.
Yes.
We have a library.
No, we have a 2 dot haven. We don't have a library yet.
Oh, we have a 2 dot haven. Wow.
Yeah, you need 2. So in total, it would be 3 dots. You need 2 dots for Haven and 1 dot for the library.
I can do that. I have 4 dots to spend. If I remove linguistic. Because I was iffy about having it.
Okay.
Ooh. Ooh, yeah, because Dudley's already my touchdown. Okay.
Yeah.
I am just doing a bit of background switcheroo, Derek.
No worries.
So I realised I technically have my touchstone as a contact, and that doesn't sit well with me right now.
Alright.
So I'm going to open that up as another dot.
Open this up.
What's our haven looking like right now?
Haven size is 2 dots. Haven library is 1.
Okay.
So, from what I'm getting, based on your domain and your domain and your haven, it almost sounds like you guys, your haven is and what have you is actually a part of a larger condo.
Huh.
Am I wrong?
Like a condominium?
Yeah, it's not overly stocked, so you don't have a high chase, but you have a few people who are coming in and out, visiting and all that kind of stuff. You got the people around the street, maybe, a 7-Eleven down the street or whatever. You got a fair amount of room, so, it might be a good... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, because I have that spare dot, I am going to put that dot into location.
Ooh.
For the Coterie Haven.
What does haven location add?
Add 2 dice.
Puts us near the
bonuses on the relevant die rolls for either chase or from your base haven rating. Pick one. So, hold on, let me double check what chase counts for.
Chance counts for feeding difficulty.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could either basically make this haven harder for people to infiltrate because it's a well-known area, or we could make it a lot easier for us to feed.
And does that make it a 3-dot haven now?
It would be a 2-dot haven with a dot of library and a dot of location.
Okay.
Yeah, to increase it further, you need to increase the size of the haven first.
Oh, so I can't spend a dot of location?
No, as I understand it, and I'll double check here the ruling on it, but you can end up getting in order to get something special about your haven, you need at least a 2-dot size haven, right?
Right.
But then in order to any of those specialties, like library and location, you need to be able to match one dot to Haven size each time. So if you wanted to, say, have a library and a location and luxury,
Where
you
are
would
you
need at
seeing
least
that
a 3
ruling?
dot. Let's see here.
It says, you can add merits and flaws to your Haven if you wish. They stack the base rating. Produce total dots in this background. Projects and other use.
Because I'm seeing certain perks have a limitation to what size you need to have first, but I don't see a limitation as to how many perks you can have in general.
That might actually be the thing I'm confusing.
Because library requires a 2 dot size, surgery requires a 2 dot size.
Okay, yeah, then
Cell
that's
requires a
where
2 dot
I'm
size.
getting confused. That's my fault. I take it back.
Otherwise, we can have all of this. We can have all the Haven perks we want.
Yep.
If
All
we
right.
had the experience for it.
Yes. If we can get the dots for it.
So, because we've sunk a lot into this haven, where is it? What type of building is it? And what are we calling it? Because it seems like it'll be quite a central location.
It'll be something that we definitely visit a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did we decide on library or location for?
Both. 1 dot each.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
So it is 2 dots because no, so it's 3 dots. It should be, I think. 1 for the base
it's
haven and 1 for each.
Well,
No,
I list those as separate things. 2 dot size, 1 dot library, 1 dot location. Because if I add, me personally, for my own note taking, if I see that I have a 4 dot haven, I'm going to get confused as to what I have.
Because it's also the thing of you can keep adding dots and growing your library.
I can.
Library is one and done.
Yeah.
You have the experience,
Oh.
and I suppose as the in-character justification for it. Yeah.
Oh, so our haven is a base 1 dot, and then everything else is an extra.
Our
No,
haven
it's
is
base
base
2.
2 dot.
Yeah.
2, okay.
In order to
Because
fit a library.
you want, to fit that
Yes.
library, it needs to be big.
I'm gonna argue that our haven, yeah, sure, condominium, but also like really nice condominium.
That's why you
It's
guys
one of the
only
new
have
developments
resources
from the Rashad series. It's a new development built by Seraph Securities.
You know,
Thank you, insurance.
I like this.
So the building
Speaking of
is
which,
a condominium.
do you have anything you want to add to this haven? Or add to the coterie?
Trying to think of what I can take away from my character to make it still.
Well, remember, you can also take a coterie flaw.
It's true.
What does taking a
Location.
flaw do?
It means
Adds
we
the
have,
equivalent in dots.
a shared enemy or a shared... What are the coterie flaws again?
It's the exact same as personal ones. So you could, for instance, take anything that's like adversary, enemy. You can actually go to Haven flaws and say that the flaw is compromised or creepy or haunted.
Oh, can we have haunted? Please.
Oh no.
Wouldn't wait, that
Your
that
haven
got,
has a supernatural manifestation in it that you do not control or really even understand. It might just have a ghost, but a haunted haven you could hold a dimensional portal, a cursed meteorite, or anything else you can't get rid of. Obviously, someone who does understand the manifestation could use it to breach your haven's security. The storyteller defines any other effects of the haunting imposed by at least a 1 die penalty to affected rolls used in your haven per dot of the haunted taken as a flaw.
Okay, maybe not, because that'll start fucking with.
With like research roles and shit.
Yeah, that will completely defeat the purpose of the library and fuck with Frank, so that's not.
Oh, come on.
I mean, he could also
I
try to
kinda want
research
to-
it.
Okay,
the
I have
reason
been
it's
looking.
haunted is probably
Everybody's
due to
talking
Frank
at once.
That...
Sorry.
You guys
go
go.
ahead, Rose.
I just think
basically,
a haunted
it's-
house is like hilarious, and I kind of want that.
Isn't that what got Nighty killed in your one shot?
No. It's not.
No, it came close, but it's not.
I just love the idea of, like, the reason this place, we were able to get this place, is because there's sort of the poltergeist who haunts it.
I have an idea, and it
Okay.
refers to the lore sheets. In the lore sheets, there is of Chicago by Night. There's something called the Labyrinth. Now, if anyone has ever heard of the creepypasta The Backrooms, I really think that would be a cool subplot.
The only reason I'd be hesitant on that is because I know LA's already doing that.
Ah,
Yeah.
That is Jasper's Maze.
that's true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know that
But-
because that's
no, it's
not
all
something
good.
I was paying attention to.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the taking one dot flaw for haunted. Because I already have a plot in mind. As soon as you mentioned it, it's like, I have a plot.
Please.
Yeah, don't hold back on Frank's account. He'd be more interested in studying the
Studying it then.
hauntedness.
We're doing it. The Haven's haunted.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, where do we take that dot then?
That's gonna go under flaws.
Cool.
Yeah, that's under merits and flaws. The Haven is haunted.
Yep.
Also, Adrian is the least Tremere of the Tremere.
Apparently.
He's an investigator. He's not necessarily a book boy.
And what's the location of our haven?
To be fair, I think the hilarious bit is, everybody's like, yeah, this looks like a nice place. It's the Tremere that are actually planning to end up having a haven here so they can research the phenomenon.
Could be.
They trick the rest of the Coterie, and it's like, what do you mean this place is haunted? Well, you know.
Yeah, that guy over there.
So we have one more dot. Where do we want to spend it?
I really think we should do some more chase.
What does
Experiment.
Chase do again?
Chase makes it a lot easier to feed. Remember on how you only need a
Yeah.
3+ in San Antonio?
Yeah.
You
So he has a
remember
4-dot chase.
Yeah, you remember how I sacrificed a lot to make sure that chase was filled up? There's a reason for that. You've never had to survive in a Chase 6 domain, which...
Hello.
Or, pardon, a Chase 1 domain, which is 6+.
Hi,
Oh.
fucking Fitzgerald.
All right. Yeah, let's put it in Chase.
Unless somebody has another idea.
I
I'm
almost
fine
wanna-
with 2 and Chase.
I like Chase, but that's just me.
And what's the
easier it is
location
to
of our
feed.
domain in Detroit?
Well, that's up to you guys. What would you like to be? It's been a year, and the city has changed. It is scarred for it, so weird things can happen.
Mm.
I kind of like the idea of being downtown.
Hmm.
Like,
Okay.
somewhere ideally within walking distance of Detroit U.
Okay.
So just put downtown then?
Well, for now. We can get more
Yeah.
specific later. We're just trying to hammer out the rough stuff so this way I can start filling in details.
Mm-mm.
So,
Do we have a name? Condominium?
The condo. Oh, the condor. Condor's Nest. No. That sounds like a tacky bar. It could be a tacky bar. A ghost haunting a tacky bar. One broken whiskey bottle and one spilt candle away from disaster.
The room. Like from that trailer.
I didn't actually watch that trailer.
Oh god, of all the names to name a thriller movie.
I know, it's tearing me apart, Lisa.
As far as the name
I'm
of
not
our
going to get
place.
distracted by a Tommy Wiseau slasher fic. Let's not go there.
Okay, so what is this place? What is this place?
The Haven or the Domain?
Yes. Is there
They-
effectively one and the same for you?
Kind of true. Although our feeding grounds would extend slightly around, I think.
Suggestion. The Study. Because it has a library and is near the Detroit University.
Yeah. It could be like a an old fraternity house. Like not frat house, but like an actual proper fraternity.
Oh.
Yeah, because with a 2 dot size, each of us would have relatively our own space.
And it's like, what would be a good cover for, a student, a policeman. I mean, sure, an illegal street racer, whatever. But a professor, like, it's somewhere where relatively a variety of people can come and go without much attention.
I like.
Okay. So, we got the study. I'm going to need somebody to load up a image of some sort. Preferably something shot at night, something that's appropriate. Or you guys can give it to me later on, and we can jump into the next portion. Because we're almost done, believe it or not.
Believe so, except
Because right now we got everything but the relationship map
yes.
and expectations needed. And I would like to end up doing a bit more locations. Because right now we have the Fitzgerald Projects, which is currently under Don't Go There. It's the Sin City equivalent of Old Town. You just don't go there. Alright. We have the Asylum.
Yes.
The Annex might be starting up again. And that's actually pretty close to your haven.
I thought the Annex was near Fitzgerald.
You gotta remember the location. No, the Annex is mid-town. It's about a 15-minute drive.
Okay.
Good. Well, another location would be the police department, although I don't think that's a neighborhood.
No, police departments are all over the place.
Yeah, the different precincts are everywhere.
Yeah.
Detroit U?
Okay.
We'd also have the Wayne State University for my character.
Okay.
And if you're up for it, there's always the Chantry.
Oh, hold up.
And just a personal bit, my lore sheet,
Yep.
Haven. So,
Yep. Let's take a look here. All players. Save. And Wayne State University. University of Detroit. Okay, after University of Detroit, what was it that you added?
If you're up for it, the Chantry also.
Right.
is there a chantry established?
Given the fact that we have 2 Tremere neonates, I imagine the Tremere in the Camarilla are pushing hard for this.
And technically, even if it's just us 3, Valentine and us 2, we technically count as a Chantry. As long as, Valentine is a regent.
I'm going to post it in the next domain so you guys can sign off on it.
Ooh. Gothic? I'm about it. I accept.
Oh yeah.
It's also a fairly small image, though.
It's definitely
I
haunted,
can
though.
work with it.
Okay.
Definitely haunted, yep. Something real creepy inside that house, but gosh dang does it look nice.
What I actually love about that is in the real world, that is a place in Detroit known as the Ghost Bar.
Lovely.
Right. What is our coterie name? Who are we?
Yep.
I had an idea earlier. The interview. Or something of the like. Because we're not really going up and busting heads or anything. We're more like going up and gathering information, learning about people. I just thought it was like, ooh, going to interview people. I don't know.
I like it
Vampire
conceptually.
Detectives, VD.
The what?
The VD. Vampire Detectives.
Please no.
The mystery gang.
No, stop it.
Jesus.
And I'll get a point of animalism. I'll get a new dog.
Name him Scooby.
No, stop it. Stop it, both of you.
Don't diss on my childhood. I will
I
fight
hate
you.
that show so much.
I will physically
Whoa,
come
whoa.
meet you at your house.
Boston Tea Room.
Look it up.
Alright.
Seriously, just look up Boston Team Room. Detroit.
It's, yeah. Kind of funny that it's not in Boston. Makes sense. Michigan's
Boston.
oldest and most respected psychic venue.
Oh my gosh, is that somewhere we're gonna go in the game?
Oh, it's somewhere Frank's gonna visit. I don't know if you'll be allowed in.
I'm gonna be allowed in. You can't stop me. Ghosts and stuff. That's what this game's gonna be about.
Well, it's a front. It's the Tremere Chantry.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
What
yes,
was I going to say? Fitzgerald to stay away, the Elysium. Or the Asylum. Well, speaking of Elysium / wherever the prince holds court. If we're
I thought you'd
watchmen,
never ask.
then yeah.
No,
I'm
that wouldn't.
getting
that
there.
wouldn't work. Oh, I got it.
You got what?
Figure you might appreciate this.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up. Oh, snap.
Oh, boy. I can see that too.
And
Hey guys,
Hmm.
I'm getting the feeling that we're the ones you're gonna call.
You're gonna call Ghostbusters.
please don't.
Is
make
that what
a
we're gonna
coterie
name our
name.
coterie?
Please don't make that a coterie name. Please, no. Let me hold some
No.
degree of self-respect for you guys left. Like what little is still there.
The call.
The call? Ooh.
We're the ones who make the call. We're the ones who answer the call.
Nature has a way.
When things get tough, who you gonna call?
Somebody else.
Fuck you, Casper.
We
Didn't even shave his goddamn mustache. What is it?
That would be a great coterie name. Somebody else. Hmm. It's hard to come up with a name.
What's your coterie name? None your business.
So we have one dot in contact for
So-
police department.
Derek, just a question.
One here.
As far as my haven goes, in regards to what you put there, are you accounting for the fact that I haven't actually decided where I'm spending dots?
I am taking into account that as far as I can tell, it was 3 dots Haven.
I haven't decided.
Given
2
the
dot
actual
size.
space you could use in a place that has open tours,
Mm,
that can be as large or as small as it needs to be.
okay.
Because there's particular places that are off limits because it's not safe for tourists to go there.
Mm,
And there's lots of little rooms that people aren't supposed to be in, or, well, old asylums maybe no one will ever find.
okay.
But there's always weird things at night.
In that regard, I'm going to spend 1 dot of that on size and 2 dots on security.
Okay.
Piggybacking off of Rose's idea of the call, how about the summoners or the conjurers? I noticed we have a lot of like spellcastery types in here. I want to lean more towards like
I think that would raise some eyebrows for being a bit too
On the
ominous.
fantastical.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
To quote that well-known Tremere Primogen, do not mistake me for some conjurer of cheap tricks.
Yeah.
Anyway, Frank would probably be something like we're the problem solvers. But he's not too interested in creative coterie names.
Yeah. This could be
I just like-
Gang, Midnight Menagerie, the Cult. What? I can't hear you. Step into my office. I believe Sim is suggesting.
Oh, Watchmen.
I mean, that's poignant.
Dark test.
Like the superhero gang.
Or the Watchers, maybe.
I want to be named after a superhero, but kind of anti-heroes characters. That sounds.
You
fun.
are aware Watchmen was a cautionary tale, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
The young ones.
Like that. The comedian is not who you want to aspire to be. Rorschach is a freaking psychopath. Do not confuse these for heroes. Yeah. Meta, as in the most effective tactic available.
The new firm. We could be super cheeky and just call ourselves the Bureau. The Bureau.
The Bureau.
God, it's so nice to be the Harry Potter generation, isn't it?
What?
Cat wants lovin'. A lot of lovin'. And won't leave me alone. He keeps trying to rub up against my microphone.
It's very cute.
You think that?
Now that Derek said the Harry Potter generation, all I can think is, should we just call ourselves the Slytherin?
No.
I don't know that Adrian would qualify as a Slytherin at this point. He's not that ambitious.
It's always the name that people get hung up on, huh?
It is.
I mean, oh god, the nightlife just clicked.
Yeah.
Coterie
Kinda
name. I
did.
can't tell you. What's the name of your coterie? I can't tell you. Don't make us hurt you. Just give us the name. I can't tell you. Dominate. Tell me the name of your coterie. I can't tell you. Whispered. Shit, what generation is he? That should have worked. I got 4 successes.
The real question is, who's on first?
Mm-hmm.
The Stephen King Appreciation Society.
Nah.
Leave it to the Bruja to disagree with everything.
Or then, Mr. Bruja.
If this was
give us
New
a
York, I would
suggestion.
have one, but...
Again, going back to the fact that it's a library, the book club.
Oh god, no. Just playing on our Bruja driver here. The Fast and the Studious.
Wow. I think you just murdered Coffee Cat there.
I'm dead.
We could be called Vin Easel.
No. No, let's stop with the puns.
You get a shotgun just for that.
Hey, cool. I make puns. They get free guns.
What's our goal as a coterie?
The dinner club. I was thinking that too, McFly.
Ooh, I like the dinner club, actually.
Maybe our name can be related to our goal.
Yeah, the goal of the coterie is...
We haven't even thought of that.
I mean, we haven't been told what it is yet.
It kind of seems like with our team, with our coterie, that our goal would probably be something along the lines of discovering things that are mysterious in Detroit. In that maybe the prince has set us on some missions to find more about the history or the supernatural goings-ons, or
restoring the natural order of Detroit.
that can get ambiguous.
Learn a bit more about the city's history.
I wouldn't know.
The natural order of Detroit is also very ambiguous. That's not something super solid.
Yeah. Natural order of Detroit. How many years you want to go back?
Yeah.
There's a coterie name. We're the Unnatural Order.
Ooh, pardon me.
If only...
I like dinner club. It's just so casual.
It kind of does sound casual.
Alright.
Dinner club.
Well, it's up to you guys.
I don't know. What do you think, Hive? And Volvo? You guys haven't really...
I'm somewhat iffy on the dinner club.
I may be biased.
I like it, and also as I said, and you quietly ignored, I haven't heard any suggestions from you, Volvo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I said the name earlier, but I don't think anyone heard me.
What did you say? Say it again.
Night Watch.
Night Watch?
Oh, I like it. It's
It
got
kind of ties
lot
both.
history.
It kind of ties into the fact that we have a getaway driver and a bunch of investigators.
That's true. That's true. I could go for that too.
Well, I figured you guys were just making me hungry, so I just put it in high dining.
The Night Watch.
I like that, actually.
Sounds good. Also known as Militia Company of District 2 under the command of Captain Franz Bannekoff.
I don't know what you're on about right now.
Series, I just googled it, and here I'll post it in Discord.
Anyway.
Painting.
I see somebody's already going with, or putting in their lines there.
Yeah, we should probably start.
Are you
that.
really going to start with an antagonistic approach to Apex?
Okay.
Right out of the gate? Like, I know where this is going, let's just jump the gun.
No. Let's be honest, Eric. You know my character just as much. Out of everyone here, Vivian would not get on with Ajax.
You mean Apex?
Apex, not Ajax. I mean,
Ajax.
probably not Ajax as well, but you know.
Yeah.
Ajax is Mouse's baby!
Yeah. Let me get back to you on that one. That's a plot I'd like to at least give like 10 sessions to cook.
So, what do the colors mean?
Long story short, think of it as strong ties, somewhat indifferent, or I'll work with them, and red is I am antagonistic to this person. Or our relationship is not on a good one.
So, green is good, yellow is neutral, red is bad.
It's traffic light colors.
Traffic light, yeah.
Oh. I am a struggling.
I probably would struggle a little bit because I'm probably going to need your input a little bit. As to how it is that Adrian kind of ended up fending for himself.
Okay, how do I do that?
Well, what do you mean?
Like he was basically by himself for a long time up until now. So did he even know that Frank existed? Did Valentine just ditch him? What are we talking about here?
Oh, that sounds like a you problem.
Well, I want your input because you're my coterie. you're
a birdmate.
You're a child of my sire as well.
All right. Well, the way I imagine Valentine and Frank's relationship to work is that she is not an absent sire, but she is not really indulgent either. If you were to go your own way, she would probably not stop you. So I would say it's up to you how involved you want to be. But you will have known us as your extended vampire family.
Am I the younger of the two of us?
That's a good question. Possibly.
Volvo, what's happening?
I'll kill you, Rose.
Really? Really? What are you two on about?
Nothing.
I'm trying to collaborate with Ive over here.
Yeah. So Frank, this is getting into a bit of his backstory. Frank was turned because he started researching into more of the occult and kind of the hidden side of Detroit. And Valentine, as the person I imagine Valentine to be, she is very interested in, amassing knowledge, sharing it, as a Tremere normally would be, and finds that Frank's contacts at the university and in the world of academia are useful in the hunt for knowledge. And plus, Frank himself is a very, very good researcher. So the reason he was turned was to help basically her discover something, and that something I will leave up to Derek for what it is. It could be like the Book of Nod, or it could be something from Detroit's kindred past that Frank isn't completely aware of. It could be something from Valentine's own past that she maybe doesn't remember for some reason or whatever.
Okay.
Basically, he's there to help uncover the truth.
Okay. That sounds like it would be pretty similar, or at least very very on the nose, like in the same direction that she would embrace Adrian, in that Adrian's a good investigator and could help in that regard.
Yes, also you may have been turned after because you are a little bit more trained to deal with any problems that, Frank might encounter, or you also might encounter, whereas Frank is very unphysical and does not like a violent confrontation.
Derek?
I'm listening.
Do we have touchstones to go on the relationship map as well?
I still got to work those in. I am just trying to find something that's a little bit more. How do I put this?
I don't know anything about this mask guy. Don't really know anything about Keegan either.
I don't know much about anyone here except
Well, that's kind of the point of a session 0, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, so tell me about the creepy masked guy. Who's Apex?
Apex is pretty much a let's go to Y. Nickname for him. His real identity is classified for the most part. His main thing, other than street racing, is he is a runner. He runs guns. He transports people. He pretty much does most discreet jobs.
No offense, Volvo, but the image you give me says anything but discreet.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with the yellow line, half because of the image and half because you're just a businessman and you have nothing to contribute in the eyes of research or uncovering the truth of things.
He's not even a businessman. He's a smuggler. He's a crook.
Sure.
Which
He
actually
does have a business.
To be fair, that might actually tie you into Adrian's recent history, because he was basically fending for himself for quite a bit of the actual purge, maybe a little bit of time after that, because Valentine might have disappeared for a minute. And so he had to figure out how things worked on his own for a moment, and took on a lot of survivalist skills as a result.
That worked. Apex does have his own customs. Obviously.
So my criminal contact could be either directly or indirectly related to you.
Okay.
And who is Tegan?
Tegan is a psychotherapist at the Henry Ford Kingswood Psychiatric Ward. Generally speaking, they prefer to hear people and listen to what they have to say before anything else. They want to learn about people. They want to encourage others to pursue learning and evolving. One thing in terms of personality is you simply tell Tegan anything and they will never approach it with any judgment or shame behind it. They'll just accept it as it is and as you say it.
All right. That sounds like the green line goes both ways then, because as someone working in psychiatry, you're also in a hunt for the truth, in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you're another fellow intellectual.
Oh, fellow intellectual.
And I guess the last one for me is Viv.
Vivian was a student studying business and law at Detroit U. They got in on a scholarship. They're not really a practicing Catholic. They just kind of go through the motions to keep the scholarship eligible. They were sired a few months ago and sort of turned from learning Kine law to Camarilla law. And yeah, and I'm not sure what other questions there are.
No, that's good. You also sound like an intellectual, and the law is supposedly concerned with the truth, so you're gonna get a green line as well. Meaning Volvo's character is the only one that's kind of like, I don't know about this guy, I'll work with him, but that's what he's really about thinking.
That is to say, I should actually, before I throw that line in myself, Volvo, how is Apex as a character? Like, how does he present himself? How does he approach others?
For the most part, he's pretty respectful until you kind of give him shit. Then he's not a nice guy.
That picture says nothing in that regard.
Oh no, it's not.
Let's see here. Sorry, I'm just trying to end up making touchstones as quick as possible.
Oh, you're all good. Feel free to keep this close to your chest as you want. What feeding types do we have in this coterie?
Bagger.
Adrian's also a bagger.
I'm also bagger.
3 baggers. Oh,
Sandman.
okay.
I think I chose Osiris. Double checking. Yes.
For Adrian, it was out of
Bagger,
necessity.
bagger.
Out of necessity, he had to eat whatever he could.
Tegan's a bit of a not okay with the whole drinking blood thing yet.
Vivian?
You mean
Vivian, sorry. God,
That's fair.
we have no excuse for that one.
I don't know if Frank knows anyone else's connections. Where you at?
I may have one touchstone which Adrian may know. That being, let's go back across to my chronicle. Dudley Ford, who is a reformed heroin addict.
Hmm.
So I need to find, where's Trinity? Oh.
What else can I tell you guys? Both of Vivian's parents are dead.
Convenient.
Well, quite tragic actually. Their mum OD'd on Flan.
Oof.
And their dad never came home from work one night, just a few months, or not even a few months, about a month or a few weeks before.
Yeah, I remember reading through what everyone had posted of their history in the bio thing, and I made note that Frank's kind of the only one who has a family that's still alive. Well,
Adrian does, and they're all former police people. Being police runs in his family. I just posted that today, by the way. So
that's probably why I didn't read it.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's actually something I wanted to talk to you about, because Frank's brother, Peter, is in prison. It's not his first time in prison either. He's a repeat offender, because one of Frank's convictions is those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And it's kind of the idea that Peter always imagines that he's going to get away with it this time, but it's always a mistake, and he gets
Let's
thrown
see
into
here.
prison. So I was wondering if Adrian or
It's right there.
possibly now his family have some connection to that.
Okay,
Depending how long ago he went to prison, Adrian might have been involved in his arrest. 'Cause Adrian's been embraced only about 1.5 years.
Oh yeah, he's like intermittent. He's probably been to prison at least twice. Maybe this is his third time. And probably it was about 5 years ago or so that he was convicted of the most recent thing.
Okay.
Third offense.
He's definitely going to be someone that Frank visits in prison. So I'm not just stuffing him there out of the way. And I'm picking around 5 years because I want his sentence to be coming to an end as well soon. Possibly 1 more year left.
Oh.
And then there's a second conviction that Frank has, but I have to figure out the NPC it pertains to. Basically, Frank doesn't lie.
Well, you're going to have fun in the Camarilla.
The truth is sacred, thou shalt not lie. That's his conviction. Because to him, like, the way he views history is he's on the search for truth, right? And so it's very hypocritical for him to value the truth of the past so highly and then to turn around and spread lies.
just to give you guys a heads up before you finish typing, I'm gonna move everything down a bit so this way I got a little bit more room up top.
That's fine.
There we go.
My personal monster. Wow.
I gotta do so many quick sketches.
Tegan.
Hmm?
So Hannamore is your sister?
Yes.
Who is Trinity Harper?
One of Tegan's patients.
Okay.
A regular Tegan is seen. Trinity experienced a really, really difficult and has been a returning patient at the psych ward multiple instances. Every time they've been more or less partnered together to get Trinity help, but they are, I believe she, at this point, I didn't put too much information up, is the sole guardian of her younger brother. And for Tegan, that, like, it hits a chord.
Fair.
Yeah, right now I'm only doing Sire's touchstones. Those are the big ones.
Yeah, the only reason I mentioned that one for you is sort of that's kind of a big one for Vivian.
Oh, I'd believe it. Let me actually go through this whole thing first, and I will.
Yeah, no rush.
Oh, plenty of rush. We only got another half hour to hammer this out, enough that we got a working campaign. Then I got to jump into workshop.
Because we got a guest speaker.
We have a guest speaker. The Lady Dare herself.
But yeah, I guess the question is, would any of your guys' sires care about Tremere Childer?
Yes, immediately. Whatever the finishing statement on that. The second that you said Tremere, yes, they care. Never trust a Tremere. That is a golden rule. That did not change.
Right. But as long as they haven't openly worked against him, he doesn't really have any connection to any of them.
Tegan, how old is Hannah?
Oh gosh. I think Hannah was roughly at around the ages of between, I wanted to say 21 at least.
Okay.
Tegan is actually fairly old themselves. Oh. I put in 29, but I meant to... I'm going to change that. I'm going to make them older. Tegan is 31 years of old. No, I did not do that on purpose.
I'm calling bullshit.
No, I really didn't. My brain messed up. It's fine. Oh, does Tegan offer medication to her patients, or does she only offer themselves as a confidant? I believe Tegan is able to administer medication to her patient and prescribe them with those things. Generally speaking, they do that for most of them, in the middle of just trying to understand what kinds of resources they need. Being able to write down that prescription in order to ship it out to pharmacies and whatnot, but otherwise, they don't really take advantage of it in any way as a kindred.
And whose fault is that?
My own, but it won't be in the future.
How do I change the font color?
When you select the font option, it should be up. So you've got the text style.
There it is. I see it now. I got it.
Psychiatrist, not psychologist. Psychotherapist. They're kind of...
A psychiatrist is one who could prescribe. So.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. I'll have to go through every one of these in a minute, but let's see here. That should be right around here. That should be around here. And
this is a pretty long one.
Derek?
Yep.
Not to be a pain, could we just swap Dudley and Karen? Because I think Dudley may also have a link to Adrian. And so that'll just make it neater.
There we go.
Thank you.
And for sake of preserving issues,
So, who are Ted Rooks and Monica Graceland? And Clifford Douglas.
Clifford Douglas is Apex's old sergeant, actually. He is retired, obviously, but he is a current novelist, and he helps write for the news. Monica is a social worker and community manager, I guess you could say. She helps does stuff for the community, and she looks out for children who have been either harmed or abandoned, stuff like that. And Ted Rooks is my crew's gatekeeper. And he is a mechanic at my shop.
Oh God, you've got another business?
I said this earlier.
Okay. And so you said Dudley Ford was a recovering narcotics addict?
Yeah, specifically heroin. Vivian knows him through charity work. He is now working sort of reformed in a soup kitchen, sort of trying to help others, and while still sort of finding his feet again. Sort of thing of spent as much time in jail on minor possession charges just because he is not one of nature's brilliant minds. Let's just say he's been banned from kitchen duty. He just holds the ladle.
okay, I think that covers every Sire and Touchstone except for Dr. Frank.
Oh, right. I need to send you a picture for Peter. Yes.
Dr. Frank, does he have an assistant called Max?
No.
You are so much easier to deal with in character.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Alright. Still waiting on some of those. Okay, so let's... And I do apologize, I was kind of only half paying attention because, you know, trying to make as many icons as I could quickly. But let's take a look here. Mirrors.
Wait, who's Dudley Ford?
Oh, we were just talking about him.
Oh, whoops. I'm not paying attention. It's fine.
No. It's all good. I'm the one that needs to keep all this, up and running.
Dudley Ford is one of Vivian's touchstones.
Yep.
He's a reformed heroin addict just off the streets. He's now working, sort of being supported by a charity while also working in the soup kitchen to sort of earn his keep, sort of thing.
Yeah. So guys, just to end up letting you know, if you're, I'll give you an example. Who's the one that said Tremere baby? Like who to who?
Frank to me.
Yeah.
Frank to you? Okay, so I'll show you a little trick. Right.
With arrows.
Yeah.
I forgot the arrows. I'll go through and edit those in.
Just 3 arrows pointing to, like, who's to who. Because I'm not, like, I'm trying to follow it all, but I'm not 100% sure who's going who. And if it's a two-way communication, you make sure one is on the top, one is on the bottom, right?
Right. Yeah, but drawing that. Oh, how do you draw an arrow?
You don't draw an arrow. You literally put it change the text so you have a greater or lesser than sign pointing to the person who's being referred. And I know who it's coming from. So, for instance, if you take a look at an educator, I respect his profession, you see that it has the lesser sign indicating an arrow pointing towards Demetrios.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that.
Derek, would you agree with my assessment of the unknown character?
We're gonna have... Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I like that better. That way.
I know it's not a lot of space to work with, but we've tried to end up doing it in larger, and that turned to be just as muddled. But, yeah. Now you understand why relationship maps get extremely complicated, and why it is that I tend to reduce them as much as possible.
Yes.
Because the second I start adding your sire, their ties to the larger principle and all that, that's a different story entirely. But...
Oh, Jesus.
So, trusted mental health professional, I guess.
Have you sent me any photos to work with?
Oh, right. I should do that.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of doing it. I believe.
It's okay. I want to make sure that you guys have the ability to do it and have everything done beforehand, because we're kind of getting a little late, and unfortunately, I got work tomorrow morning.
I believe we'll go with this guy, Peter.
That evil within. Right, I forgot this one's dead.
I also have an enemy, but I'm not entirely sure what their concept is yet.
Well, I want to come up with one. Or either that or you're letting me have it.
I've got a 2-dot enemy as well, which I'll be honest, I'm willing to let Derek have that one.
Oh god, I also have an enemy. Why? Why are we like this?
Do this to yourselves. Oh my god.
I
spend the
have.
first 10 episodes dealing with your enemies.
Are you freaking kidding me? That's one of my favorite parts. Did you...
Suppose.
Gord.
The hardest part is not killing them on sight.
Going to there.
I have 2-dot enemy and 2 dots infamy.
Oh, great. Infamy.
Infamy?
Yep.
My god!
I am shunned by the Anarchs.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Less is books, less so people.
I mean, that's
People
what
lie.
Vivian thinks.
Books don't. The law
Books do lie, though.
is also
Revisionist history.
yeah. I suppose that's true.
Books aren't written by who's right, only who's left.
So you're just going to be trusted law professional. I love how our words are all on top of each other now.
That's why I'm trying to balance it so there's just a little bit less crossover.
Yeah.
I will point out, I'm still technically a student. I'm not a professional.
I will point out that Derek is going to be Nick fitting in the next 15 minutes.
Much like Dr. Phil, I never actually got my doctorate.
I don't know where to put this where it's not on top of somebody's tab.
You can change the size.
Suppose, but then nobody can read it.
We can always zoom in.
That's true. I'll do this then.
I just don't understand on why it is that people have a hard time not making concise statements.
I mean, mine are concise. The green lines are basically trusted people.
All right,
To be fair,
mean,
it seems
who is
like
that?
Frank trusts everyone.
You need to tell me who they are as well.
Who they are, or who
Yeah, when you
I
post a picture,
perceive.
because I don't know who this is supposed to be.
Whoops. That's right. I thought the name of the picture, it's
No, I don't see
That's
the
the
name of the
show.
picture.
sorry, it's Peter. Peter Demetrius.
Okay.
If you want to do the full name.
I kind of have to, yeah.
Okay.
That's part of being an ST. Is you're asking me to play these.
Yeah.
And I love how we just avoided a pentagram by the simple fact of we went to Volvo's corners rather than to his middle.
I'm mildly disappointed, but
Oh yeah, I have to do.
Also, are we gonna get like a copy of this in the Discord?
probably a lot cleaner of one. But yeah.
Cool. Because I will be using that in my own notes.
Because
Yeah, I think our old one is still pinned in the Index domain if you ever want to check that one out.
I did see that.
There we go. I actually have a statement for Volvo's character.
you know, I'm always hesitant when somebody says that.
Who is this person and what do they want?
No. The reason being is if any of you have ever seen Return of the Living Dead, there's the punk girl at the start in the car, and she's like, "I like it. It's a statement."
I see.
God, I already know what the Harpy's gonna start calling the doctor. I already know. I have Telly's voice in my head already.
Oh boy. Am I Valentine's
man.
favorite? I don't know.
That's how Adrian feels about you.
I might be. I've also got Criminal Family that
I'm not sure what Adrian would think of Vivian.
Oh god, I'm pretty sure Volvo has just made this character to kill mine.
Wait, what?
Listen.
I can't.
Here is my revenge.
Do you
I
want
can't
to show
actually-
us on the Seraph doll where Raven hurt you, Volvo?
Revenge!
Are you really gonna do that? That sounds terrible. I want this
Man.
coterie to work, y'all.
I want this coterie to work. I've made a fucking cinnamon roll to try and make this coterie work this time.
And yet
It's okay.
still this shit happens.
I mean, Mouse was a cinnamon roll
To be
at
fair.
the beginning.
It's true. It's true.
Listen, okay? All I'm saying is someone's gonna lose their kneecaps very quick.
Why would you do this, Volvo? Don't do this.
Because he hates you and everything you stand for.
Exactly.
I've done nothing to
I've-
him.
You have 2 touchstones on the Dear Doctor, right? And, oh, you don't have a second one. Okay. You don't
Yeah, I
have your
haven't
second
quite figured out who's gonna.
Apparently,
Yes.
it's the Trumpet Revenant from Doom. That's
It
what you
could
have
be.
written here. Doot.
I mean, it's possible.
Dude.
Doo-doo.
Oh yeah, so
God
Frankie
damn it! Now I'm just
Peter.
gonna play it in your honor. I know you won't be able to hear it, but
I'm sorry, just Spectre, where you went doo-doo. I've just got imagining like Revenant Doom Siri. Like it just comes charging up, and then all you hear is just doo-doo, and it hands you a message.
Find it
I've
interesting
touchstone
that-
right here on screen.
I sadly can't see. I can't have Twitch open at the moment due to internet being in a funk.
That is fucking hilarious. I love it.
Dude.
Oh, I just saw Yusuf's message. Apex's car is a 2020 Dodge Barracuda.
I'm not gonna make
Damn.
a joke. I'm not gonna make a joke. I'm not gonna make a joke.
Brand new car? My god.
Does it have a compensator in that? Because it really seems like a compensator car.
No, but it does have nitrous.
How in the world is that legal?
Goes fast, but has a lot of short bursts.
Wow. Wow. Dan.
Volvo, no, Volvo. And I respect your choice, and I'm not going to say no to it. Have you really thought through the consequences of putting a highly volatile, flammable explosive in your car?
Yes.
Good. Just checking.
Okay. I'm just gonna let the cards fall where they may. I didn't say no. All I'm gonna say is there are consequences to different bits. On the other hand,
All I'm going to say is I caused a car crash in the very first session last season.
Is it gonna happen again?
Volvo's trying to relive the classics.
Fine then. No nitrous.
No, no.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean, you're already looking like Frankenstein from Death Race with that mask, so we may as well fulfill the burned alive portion of it.
To be fair.
How? Okay, I don't have any green lines, y'all. Not yet.
That's not true.
No, as in my character to other people.
Yeah, you like playing the loners though.
He doesn't want to
This coming
be.
from you is
And-
rich, Ive.
Hey, my characters aren't loners. I've always liked playing with connections.
You've
I
got a
was
good
Tash's
line to Vivian.
dad. I was Alexa was kind of a loner.
All right.
She tried to.
Okay. So, obviously, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to finish all this tonight, but I think you guys are good on your own. So I want to take the last few minutes to discuss a few things specifically.
Oh.
And I am specifically building a handout for myself. So, what are some of the expectations you have? Like, things you're either trying to explore, things you're looking to end up getting involved in. The more specific, the better. Like, are there particular things that, like, this NPC is a person I want to keep, like, fairly invested in? Or are all my touchstones going to be like how most people treat their touchstones, where they're completely irrelevant?
I would like a decent relationship with Alim and my Mauler. Like, I at some point I would like to have to turn to my Mauler.
Okay.
It's the weird thing of just because of the relationship of them, which I kind of want to keep secret because spoilers. Something will have to drive me to that. It's not like Hector was.
Okay.
My expectations, at least with Tegan, is based on the La Sombra's inherent abilities and the drawbacks with that. La Sombra gets stains on occasion when they use their powers, because you don't get to stare into the abyss without it staring back.
Okay.
I want Tegan to have a lot of closeness with humanity. I want them to have a lot of strong connections, and I want to work more with interacting with people, like humans, as a thing.
I think Adrian's going to start off with a lot of distrust, but I think what he really wants is to feel safe, which is weird for a vampire game, but he wants to... He was embraced and promised discovery, and what he got shortly after that was a living hell. And he is coping with that and is trying to rebuild trust in just people in general.
Okay.
I think that's why he distrusts most of the Coterie, but I, as a player, want this Coterie to work.
Okay.
So Frank is very... Even though he doesn't have a lot of touchy-feely in him, he cares about family. So I already knew he would have had a brother way back when I first designed him. And his relationship with his brother is very important. In fact, he is basically going to adopt Adrian as like a surrogate younger brother.
Nice.
Basically because Peter is... It's still important to him, but he's like... You don't learn from your past mistakes. I don't know how much I can help you anymore. But he still wants to, see him succeed and stuff.
Okay.
So there's going to be... I'm probably going to be asking for scenes, not every session, but I'm going to be visiting the jail.
Whatever your shtick is.
Yes.
By all means.
And the other thing I want for Frank is I want him to stumble into shit that he is way over his pay grade. Like, I want him to actually discover stuff, because I built him to be a researcher. Beyond those two things, anything's fair game.
Okay. What about Apex?
Apex is looking to more or less get his name out there as you need something delivered somewhere, you go to. He's a damn good runner.
Jobber, got it.
Yep.
Okay. Is that everything?
I personally would like some sort of, well, intrigue is naturally gonna come, but like probably like observing something, breaking and entering, need to retrieve something. And something that involves racing or driving. Just it's not wasted.
Initial D.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Initial V?
Initial D mixed with like Metal Gear type shit.
Well, we'll see, and I guess that depends on how useful you actually make yourself to other people.
Then, just to jump in with some extra bits for Vivian, because I mentioned sort of wanting a thing with the Sire and the Mauler.
Yeah.
In terms of overall playstyle, it's kind of like, yeah, intrigue, talking to people, that sort of thing, like more kind of the politics game, but also sort of the investigation game and the people game.
The people game. Yeah, I stand on that as well. The people game. A little bit of, like, politicking, a little bit work.
No, I can guarantee you don't spend a small amount of time in my game without it eventually falling into politics. So I can guarantee you on that one. But that being said, okay.
Adrian wants to develop his blood sorcery, but it hasn't been relevant up until this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
It's been on the back
Frank's gonna
burner.
tell
I
you
am
it's
placing
not relevant.
Chantry for you.
Yeah. But yeah, Frank's gonna tell you it's not relevant. Valentine probably has ideas.
Alright.
Oh, the other thing I want to kind of do, I don't know if you'll have the time or the inclination to, but I kind of wanted Valentine to be like a Christian Gnostic.
That's your own thing.
Okay.
Like that is only as relevant as you make it.
Alright.
Right? So, like, I cannot force that upon you. That's something you got to bring to the table yourself, and I will play off of, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
now I gotta end up researching Gnosticism.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, I have another thing. Like, I got to do this for when it ends up coming to Vivian. And that's because I'm going to be tapping into things I usually don't have a lot of experience with, and I want to see on if I can pull it off well or not. That's a different thing entirely, though. But, yeah. Okay, well, at least we got a rudimentary relationship web in place, and yes, we'll find out what happens. So, is there anything else we need to cover? Relationship web, Coterie dots, sires, havens, important locations, expectations, interests, chronicle tenants. I think we covered everything.
The expectation that a fade to black is always on the table. For those things that get a little bit dicey.
You guys just don't let me have any fun, do you?
I mean, we're bound by Twitch terms of service, but we each have our own limits. Being able to throw up an X card.
Oh boy.
Only because there are certain things that I know about certain people that get a little dicey. And
Somebody's going to need to be specific at this point. I need the specifics. You can't just...
Don't involve children, please. I get so anxious about that. That's where I draw that line.
There we go. See?
Coffee.
What? What'd I do? I wasn't calling anybody out specifically.
No, like, this is shit I need to know, because for those of you who've played with me before, you know that the only thing I'm bound by is Twitch terms of service. That is literally my only rule. Everything else, it is on the table. So, if there is something I cannot do, like, this is a hard line no, you better tell me now. Now, I'm familiar enough with 3 out of 5.
I don't really have any hard lines, but I was just posing the option to hardline mid-game. Because I don't always know that.
Well, here's my only... I'll respect it, if you're going to say so. The only issue that I have is that I just don't want to walk into it and then all of a sudden it's like, we're fading to black here. It's like, well, we're fading to black here, but what can I do at this point? Right? Especially if it's
I know
like...
that a hard stop is a hard thing to come back from, but like, I don't know. It's like...
What worries me is like this is coming back up. You know, if I'll just say this. We've run 52 episodes of Detroit before. Hasn't come up. And I've reduced you to tears. So...
Yes. The points at which it was getting yellow, not hard red, but yellow, was the scene with Holloway. Because I was not okay in that moment.
Okay.
Like, not a hard stop, but a when is it going to end? And for me, in that regard, it's character torture. And
yeah, that would be what Holloway was doing. Yep.
Yeah, and so like just that kind of thing, and the imagery that was going with it was a little bit yellow card for me. Not red, but a yellow card.
All right.
Would you say that you're okay with character torture being done off screen?
I don't mind that. It's the descriptions and having to visualize that myself.
Right.
That gets a little dicey.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And self-harm. Self-harm is a little bit of a trigger for me.
All right.
That's it.
Understood. Cool.
Like a bite in the wrist to then feed somebody Vitae, that doesn't do that to me. It's I intend to hurt myself for the sake of hurting myself. That's a trigger. So I could never play or really witness a Bahari character.
Right.
That's good to know, because I almost considered taking Bahari instead of
the
lore sheets.
Excuse me, I got some NPCs to delete now.
Like, if they're doing this on their own time, and I don't have to like visualize it or witness it or anything like that, that is perfectly fine that they exist. But that is not something that I would want to be present for out of character. If that makes sense.
All right.
Cool.
Everybody else better speak up right now. This is the time to speak your piece. We're closing out.
No, I think just it's a children thing for me too.
Yeah.
I'm okay with teenagers, surprisingly, but like 10-year-olds, even maybe the low teens is a little creepy for me. But
for me, it's like a children thing, like human children be.
Cut out.
Oh, human children being put into harm and or danger. If a kindred comes into the scene, they're like, "I sure whatever," but I draw with children or children appearing characters. I draw a hard line with the sexuals. Like, no way, no.
So, just to clarify, what do you count as a child? Trying to ask that in the gentlest manner because Mouse, last campaign, the whole thing with needing to find him a body double to fake his death.
It was kind of, There was one part in San Antonio that made me really anxious, like even out of character. And it was the implication that we were going to just take an innocent human mortal child of maybe like 10-ish years of age at the most and literally torture them. And that was not within my realm. If a kindred is implied of the same area,
like a appearing age,
yeah, several hundred years old, it's kind of an iffy zone. Generally speaking, I probably would turn a blind eye if they said, "Oh yes, I go in." Nice, whatever, you do you, kid. But I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Kind of an ordeal. So generally speaking, just like young children. Let's just not involve those themes.
Young or young appearing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I brought up a touchy subject, but I figured it needed to be said.
You're valid.
Yeah, ruined my night. That's a question to ask. Yeah. To me, it's just kind of a case of, okay, it only kills a handful of plots for me, and that's just because this is Welcome to the realm of general horror. So. But it's not, like, game-breaking.
Well, like you used that statement just now, ruined my night. I'm like...
No, I said it didn't ruin my night.
Oh, it cut out for me.
It didn't ruin my night. Like...
Okay. I was very concerned that I had ruined everything.
No.
Let me put it this way. I have no doubt Derek could fuck us over with just the tokens on the relationship map and the characters he's already made in the court. That's all Derek would need to keep us going for quite a while.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all.
So, like, my biggest thing is, and I've seen games like this, where I lost complete interest in the game because it got to the point where there were so many concerns over triggers that the game had absolutely no teeth.
And like I said, none of these are red cards. All of this is yellow marks.
I get it. It's just I'm on the flip side of it, right? Like, and I'm trying to be respectful of it. But on the flip side, I got to end up going, okay, well, what can I do at this point? And this is, like, between you and me, Coffee Cat, I've had this discussion with you where one of the hard parts with running a game with you is I'm big on body horror, right? Like, I'm big on gross out. I love that kind of stuff. I love the like I love doing the verbal equivalent of the visual effects department. I love that.
I
And
get it.
for you, it's like keep away. It's like, but my favorite toy box right here. But no, okay. You know, like, but don't worry. I got more than a single toy box. I've been accumulating tricks throughout the years. So
Right. And
don't
so,
worry
like,
about that.
like if you had, for instance, if you had cut away to like a visual shot of Screw actually torturing Gutter, I would have cried even harder because I would have been like, no, that's mine. Stop it. What are you doing? And so the fact that it was after the fact and you described what had happened, same with on the boat, what had happened to Gutter, I was okay out of character.
Mhm.
You describing the fact that this happened.
Well, that's what I mean. Like it's me trying to play around with the edge of something without crossing the line.
Right.
But much like with Spectre talking about, I was very uncomfortable. There was no chance Urian was going to end up feeding that girl to Carlos. It just wasn't going to happen. That wasn't the point. The point was the tension of, are you sure he won't?
Right.
Right? And it's like, yeah, I'm 99% sure. That 1% is going to drive you up the wall. Like, but what if he does? Right? And that right there clicks the tension.
That ramps my anxiety so hard.
Right? But
sometimes ramping the anxiety is the point of a thing.
That is generally the point. It's a political, personal horror game.
True.
Anxiety just kind of comes with the territory.
Right.
But you guys knew this coming in. This is not new information to you.
No, it's not.
Yeah, after the shit you went through last Chronicle Coffee, like, you of everyone is the sort of shit we have just signed up for.
Oh, I know. All
right.
I know that you're going to use those daggers very hard, but it's fine.
Yeah, but
I only have the one touchstone.
This is why I need to end up knowing this stuff and trying to go, okay, well, what's the hard line? Because I'd like to be able to peek into yellow card territory. Like when things get really intense, that's where I want to get to. Not going to red, but like we're staying in yellow. It's starting to transition towards. It's getting uncomfortable. And now we're in yellow. Now we're in yellow. Oh shit! Now we're in yellow. Okay, ease it back down. That's the idea, because that's where your tension is.
Yeah.
Right. On an emotional, guttural level, if you want to end up impacting horror, that's ultimately what you do. Yeah. There's a reason why it is that, I love horror movies, but I know a lot of people can't handle them. I can't handle them, but I know that, and I'm big on it for it. Like, I love that covering my eyes and peeking through the fingers kind of feel. I love that. So, visually or verbally, that's what I try and do. So, anyway, guys, we're 15 minutes past time. I'm going to end up closing down this stream for about, give me 5 minutes. I got to end up hooking up with Lady Raylan Dare, and we're going to end up having a discussion on Toreador, DC by Night, and a little few other extra things. So,
yes.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a good evening, and I hope to see you soon. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.